What's going on, everybody? Sock passe, not boule. I'm your host, Luke Madeus, and welcome to the Legacy Lab, y'all. On this episode, I've got a special guest with me. I got a special guest. If you've listened to my podcast, School of Wholesaling Real Estate, you might have just heard him before, right? But I'm bringing him back on the show because I really want to peel back and reveal the truth about how I'm closing a lot of deals, right? There's a special little tool I've been using since 2018, and since then, it has helped me to buy houses. I've wholesaled many properties just through leveraging this one tool. And as a matter of fact, the tool that we're going to be showing you and revealing to you tonight, this amazing app is actually like they've improved it so much that it does everything you could ever imagine that you would need in your real estate business. So the truth is, this one tool I'm going to reveal to you tonight with my brother Matt Kemp is literally a wholesaling business in a box. What's going on, Matt Kemp, man? Blessings to you, man. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Legacy Lab. How are you today?
Doing phenomenal, man. Yeah, Luke, I always, again, always appreciate you giving us the opportunity to come on here and educate your community. But really, in general, like your positivity and your energy, like it's infectious. So I love it. I come out of here always fired up. So
Awesome, awesome, man. Listen, the pleasure's all mine. The pleasure's all mine. And I do want to tell you this. So right now, this is a live show, so there's an actual audience, right? So just so you know, some of the people here are using the tool because they're my mentees, and others are not, right? So keep that in mind, man. I want you to really like peel back everything, really show them the power, how they can leverage it to close more deals, all
yeah,
of that, right? So I'm gonna give you the mic, man, and I'm gonna let you take it away,
amazing.
my brother.
Yeah, let's do it. I'll do a deep dive. I'll give a ton of information tonight. So glad we have the recording as well, so that we can go back and review that and take notes and things and follow along and whatnot. I know, Luke, it's crazy to say like, dude, you've been using it since 2018, like that. I mean, you're truly like one of the first that was helping jump in there, giving us feedback, saying, hey, I wish you could do this. I wish you could do that. Like that is how we've evolved, and that is truly the theme of what we want to be seen as is the ones continuing to be cutting edge, continuing to innovate, continuing to evolve because, hey, the market's evolving and how you approach it, going out and doing deals should evolve. You should be always leveling up, always continuing to get better and better yourself. And so we want to give you a tool that gives you that cutting edge, that is always evolving, not something that, every time you talk to us, I want you to learn something new. I want you to see something new that we've built, that we've added, that we've improved, that we keep the simplicity of it. We want anybody to jump in there and quickly know what to do and quickly, get in touch with motivated sellers. Because in the end, that's our goal, is to help you go out there and do deals, right? Like no matter what we do, that's our goal with you right there. But then on the other side of this, we want you guys to come in here and know that it's got, again, an always evolving tool set that is giving you more and more ways to get better and better at just that. So it's a simple tool to jump into, but also very advanced in terms of how it can service investors of all types. So that's our goal, is to come in there and again help newbies do their first deal, help advanced investors do their 100th deal, and everything in between. So yeah, excited to jump in and kind of show all of that off. And yeah, man, I again want to say one last appreciation for you for just being an amazing advocate for us for 7 years now. That's crazy. So
For sure, man.
appreciate you.
That is all mine. This tool has absolutely revolutionized my business. Like I have purchased a lot of homes, man, through and done a lot of deals, a lot of flips. Like I mean, you could use this for anything, wholesaling, like fix and flipping. You could get your rent, you can get your rental. I mean, the tool is just amazing. I don't want to let all the cat out the bag and give all the jewels, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you understand?
Get to
Um,
the good stuff here. Yeah.
for sure, man. So take it away, my brother.
Fantastic. So, and like you said too, across all, I mean, all exit strategies within real estate, the one commonality is, hey, go find a great deal, go buy right. So, I want to show you guys tonight really that playbook of again how we're evolving as a tool, but really it matters. Okay, what do you do with it? Like, how do you go out there and actually go do deals? And so, I want to share again the playbook we've seen work, over time. We've been doing this since 2016, 17. So, again, Luke was with us early days. But over time, we've really evolved to understand, okay, what's working today? we've had closing in on 15,000 deals done by Deal Machine customers, which is crazy to say. The volume of that's pretty amazing. So that is what we're looking at. Like, that data, that playbook. We have hundreds of interviews on our YouTube channel of people breaking down deals they've done using exactly what I'll teach you guys tonight. So I'll really try to do a crash course on really the main parts are: one, how do you build a list of motivated sellers? Like, how do you find the most motivated sellers in your market? And then two, how do you actually have a conversation with them? How do you reach out to them? How do you get their attention? How do you start to talk to them and actually inquire about the property and do deals, right? Like, how do you turn these addresses into appointments, into offers, into deals? So that's what I'll break down tonight. It's kind of those two sides of the equation here. What I can do here is, Luke, if you can give me a share request, I can go down, break it down step by step here for people. Awesome. Thank you, sir. Can you see my screen there? Amazing. Perfect. So what I'm going to show off here, I'm going to go again, break down those two pieces of this playbook within the app itself. Where we'll start is, again, building that list of motivated sellers. And really how we think about this, there's kind of two main strategies we look at to do this. First is what we were originally known for, is driving for dollars. That's the thing that we started off as a driving for dollars app. That's when Luke found us. That's when you guys originally found us or maybe heard of us. Some people may still think of us as that originally. Like, that is, amazing. Absolutely. We want to be best in class at that. We still know that, like, hey, if you're looking at least number of leads to a deal, if you're looking for best bang for your buck in terms of marketing, in terms of outreach, driving for dollars is it. Like, that is the strategy that across the board is going to take the least number of properties that you reach out to go do deals. There's a variety of reasons why. I'd say first and foremost, like, when you go out there, you're looking at and really no matter what you're doing, you're looking for indicators that someone is looking to sell sooner than later, right? And the number one leading indicator, best data point you can look at is the physical condition of the property. If it's a distressed property, if it's a rundown house, that is the number one indicator that it's a problem property, that it's owned by somebody who doesn't want to deal with it anymore, can't deal with it anymore. You have a great opportunity to provide a lot of value to them quickly. And so if you can go out there and drive for dollars, which I'll teach you guys how to do that, really, using kind of the latest technology to do that. We've got a whole suite of options here on how to do that now. That is going to be, again, it's going to require more time, it's going to require more effort, it's going to require a little more hustle, but it's going to be the highest quality leads. And so if you're in that bucket of, hey, I want to do this on a budget, I want to go out there and find sellers, and really are willing to put in a little bit of work, you've got a little more time than you do budget, go drive for dollars. Go out there and do that blocking and tackling. And even if you just get to 100 driving for dollars leads, just simply that. I know when we look at the data, you probably don't have deals in those first 100. You might get lucky. We have plenty of people who have literally on their 7-day free trial with us have done deals. You can get lucky that way. But what I'll tell you is, if you want long-term sustained success, getting to 100 driving for dollars leads is the first really predictable data point on our end that we can see another stratosphere essentially of a predictability saying, hey, this person's going to be successful. When someone hits 100 leads, things start to happen. Things start to click. You start to build this into your process. It's really like, hey, any good habit that you start, you got to start somewhere, and getting those first reps in, getting that system down is huge. And so if you can just get yourself to go out there and drive for dollars for 100 leads, find 100 properties in bad shape, we know that if we look at all the data and we say, okay, who's going to be successful, who's going to go out and do deals, the people that hit that 100 mark, it is another world of hey, this group is going to be successful. They've hit that threshold. So I'd say start there. Again, they're the most motivated sellers, but also the other great thing is, because you're going out and putting in the work, you're building a list no one else has, you're putting in the sweat equity. That means you're finding the least competitive leads in your market too. Like, you're finding the leads that not everybody else can find because they're not willing to go out there and go do this. And so if you can put in that work, put in that time, earn this list, again, you're going to find those hidden opportunities that other people won't. So what it looks like inside Deal Machine to save you the most amount of time possible with all of that, thought process of what you're looking, or, why go do this, right? You're looking at the desktop version. There's a mobile app as well. The mobile app locks on your location. The desktop, looks obviously like this. Anything you do in either one, they all sync up at the same place. And to go drive for dollars is, you're probably using the mobile app. You jump in there. You let it lock onto your location, and you'll see a little blue dot, or you'll see a little blue dot. It's locking onto your GPS, right? Appear on your map. And as you drive around, as you drive down the street, it's going to follow you around. You see all these little black dots around you. Those are all properties. Those are all, every single property you see in real life. It's got a data point inside Deal Machine anywhere in the US, all 50 states. We've had deals done literally everywhere, rural, urban, any kind of market you can think of. And so as you drive down the street, what you're looking for when you drive for dollars, again, is that house in bad shape. They've got the tarp on the roof, gut on the roof, got broken board up windows, front yard, backyard's a mess, overgrown grass, really overstuffed mailboxes, things that show it's a maybe a vacant home, right? So you're looking for those signs of physical distress as you drive around. And when you see that, if you see a house in bad shape at 11015 Florence Avenue in St. Anne, Missouri, great. You click on that lead, you with that little dot, right? It'll pop up with an option to add that property, add that lead. You click on that, it turns it blue, a little blue pin, and then you've got one lead down, 99 to go. So there's your first one. And so don't overthink it. Simply start there, start driving around. And if you can again hit that initial threshold, you are on the right path. So before I share some pro tips on this, Luke, any thoughts here on from a D4D standpoint?
I mean, this is amazing, man. This is amazing. I'm in here just listening myself. You
Love
understand?
it, man.
And
Yeah,
so keep on going, brother.
there we go. So to get to the pro tips, okay, great. I get it. Fine, run down houses, tag them. Great. That's easy. The next step, and here let me go to an area that I've kind of done this in a little bit, is going in and driving around and using our route tracking. Because as you drive around, you want to be able to visually see, hey, where have I been, and where should I go, and what areas have I not covered, and what have I covered, and over time, you see when you drive around, you'll have a little tail that pops up behind you, so it's just kind of tracing your route where you've been. It starts blue. Over time, it turns yellow at 6 months, and then at a year, it turns red. And so you can visually see on the map. I've done a ton of demos in this area, but you can see on the map, hey, where have I driven and where should I drive next? And oh, this turned yellow over here, and I've done deals over there. Let me go redrive that, which I recommend once it turns yellow. Oh, it's right over here. I should really recover that area. And it just saves you so much time and so much planning to get out there, never double back on routes, and always kind of just strategically cover an entire area. So that route tracking is massive. Satellite view I really like because when I drive around, it makes it easier to see the rooftops and things. So I prefer satellite mode on the map as well. So I'd recommend that. I'll also tell you, and standard's a little easier to demo, but satellite right there. Tap to add properties. That is incredibly helpful. And just as it sounds, you tap to add them. So as you drive down the street, what I'll do is I'm practicing what we preach here in St. Louis, doing deals here. If anyone's here in St. Louis, please reach out. I'm always looking to team up as well. But we've got my business partner and I, we will drive around. I'll drive down the street. We'll lock on the tap to add properties mode right here. And I'll be driving. He'll be in shotgun. We'll drive down the street. He looks on the right hand side. I look on the left, and we just start calling out addresses, and he just tap to add. So it's don't even, don't you eliminates clicks. You just tap to add, boom, boom, boom. And as you go down the street, it will just add that property for you. So in terms of efficiency, that is massive. That helps you get to that 100 number very quickly and blow right past it and build those processes in to keep going. So all of that super helpful. One last thing on physical driving for dollars, I would highly recommend considering adding a quick filter too. It's something that essentially overlays the map with data. So you can go in here and, like, for example, for us, I love the high equity quick filter. And it could be depends on what seller motivations you're looking for. If you specialize in a certain niche, anything like that. If you know how to help people that are behind on taxes or in foreclosure or probate. Yeah, you've got a lot of options there. But high equity, that's a really easy broad one. And now when I drive down the street, let me see if I can get this example here. Great. As I drive down the street now, hey, all these highlighting properties that pop up, those are all ones that have, that are high equity. And so I can see a house is in bad shape and it's high equity. That is a really, really good lead. Go add that. And I might even tag it as high priority when I do so. And great, like, start there. So all of that, super, super helpful. I'll tell you, Luke, one other thing as well. We have a virtual option here too. I don't know how often you end up doing the virtual stuff. I always prefer in person if possible, but virtual is a great plan B. And it's especially great if you are not based in an area that you're going to invest in, or you don't have a car, or you can't get out during the day very easily, or I've had virtual assistants do this in our account. I've had people come in here, and if I've had people even like inspire their family or friends who want to get involved, but they don't either aren't old enough to drive or don't want to drive, right? You click this little orange button right here, start driving, and on mobile it's just Drive for Leads virtual drive. Then you click on the map, you click start driving, and then you're virtually driving for dollars. You're doing the same thing, but let me see if I can get the load. Here we go. You're doing the same thing, but you're doing it virtually, and you're looking for again those signs of distress as you click down the street. You're looking at the rooftops, you're looking at the windows, you're looking at the yard, all that type of stuff. And the one big pro tip I can share is look at the photo taken date right here. So, hey, if I see a house that is a good lead, I would compare when that photo was taken last, which it says May of 22, to when the house was last sold. So click into the property data, and now I can look and see, hey, you know what? This house hasn't sold since 2020. That means that, if the house has not changed hands since that photo was taken, it's highly likely in similar condition to when the photo was taken. So I'd say like if it's been sold since the photo was taken, I wouldn't add it. If it is not, hey, I think it's probably a pretty solid lead, no matter what. So that's the one big pro tip when it comes to virtual I'd recommend. And it's doing the same thing. It's tracking your route. It'll give you a drive summary. It'll show you what leads you added, all that stuff. You can highlight just like you would. Just you're clicking for dollars there instead. Awesome. Any thoughts there? There's one other thing I wanted to show you guys that's like brand new, but I wanted to take any questions there on D for D before I show this one. Cool. All right. Awesome. Uh, Final thing here. So, and this isn't just limited to driving for dollars, but when it comes to actually coming in and figuring out, okay, what are the most efficient ways I can do this? How can I do this quickly? How can I build a niche list no one else has as fast as possible? We have recently added, Luke, I don't know if you've seen this yet, man. This is pretty crazy. We added this in November. We have AI helping you here. So you can jump in and this AI vision builder down here, what you can do is, say if I want to virtual drive for dollars an entire neighborhood, entire area. Great. Let me back up. Let me, draw that, use the draw tool top left corner to highlight this area. So, you know what? Let's go down here by Stan's Bar. Awesome. Use this in Southampton. Cool. Out of these 186 properties that I've just highlighted here, just drawn around, I can then go in and we have this AI vision builder down here. When you pop this open, what you're looking at is every single property we have in here. I mean, you've got 700 plus data points you can filter by and deal machine. You've got property data, demographic data, all of that that the AI can look at. In addition to that, it can also look at satellite imaging and street view images. So how you would virtual drive for dollars, it has all of that data feeding right into it. And when I say we're always evolving, always trying to be cutting edge for you guys, this is what I'm talking about. Here's a great example. This is something that we've seen other providers try something similar in terms of AI lists. It literally be like 5 figures a quarter to pay for that. It's crazy. This is something where you come in here, you've got all these properties highlighted, right? Now, what you do and what you would do with any AI tool is you prompt it, you give it a guide and say, go do this thing for me. One example prompt right here we have, and again, you can type whatever you want. You can say, look for this, analyze this, analyze that. But one example is distressed properties is one of our default prompts. So if you click on that prompt right down here, and we've tested this a bunch, it works crazy well. You go in here and it says, okay, cool. For this prompt, AI, go in here, identify properties that show signs of distress based on the satellite and street view images. Look for things like neglected landscaping, structural damage, broken roofs, boarded up windows, general disrepair. Great. That's what we're looking for when we drive for dollars, right? Properties that don't need to show all examples, but the more the better, basically. You've got all that right there. I will tell you it's 2 cents per property to go this route. So you got to, you're weighing your time versus, a little bit of budget there. But out of these 186 properties, instead of having to drive virtual D4D that entire thing, even a whole neighborhood could take you hours, right? You can go in here and, it's 372, $3.72. You hit build with AI vision. And before you do that, you can even go in and say, hey, it's got to fit this exact prompt word for word. You can crank that up or lower it down so it's roughly fitting the prompt, but right in the middle is good for this prompt. But we've got, hey, cool, use AI vision, go essentially instantly virtual drive for dollars this whole list. And so what it'll do is I hit build with vision, confirm, And now the AI is doing its thing. It's taking a minute, couple minutes at most to pick out those needles in the haystack for you, show you those distressed properties immediately, and build you that list that no one else has right there with a couple clicks. So that's brand new. We want to give you guys an edge in your market. Like here's one great example of how to do that. So this is kind of a nicer area. We'll see if anything comes up. Here we go. We got two, three. Nice. So it's picking out again six. There we go. So out of the 186, here are those six properties that the images are distressed. So there we go, man.
That is absolutely
Um,
that's a game changer. That is a
oh,
100% game changer. You know what I mean? Save so much time. Can you pull up some of the properties that came up from
Mhm.
that, man? I've got this here.
Yeah, let's look at it, dude. Let's see. Let's test it out. So here's the six. Let's see if we get any. Yep, here you go. Here's one. Oh, let's open it in Google Maps. Take a look. Yep. Oh, we didn't specify single family, so you could even go a step further and say single family, right? So that way you're not analyzing every property like that one. Here's looks like the back. Hold on, let's see if we can find another good example that would be good to look at. Oh, this is a. There you go. This is a. Let me see if I can see this. There's a house on this lot actually. So it's pulled up this lot even. So you could get even more specific and say, hey, look for buildings, right, that are distressed. This one's, I'd say, pretty distressed. It's leveled. So, you've got that there. And then, you're able to go in and be able to view all those individual properties like this one at a time and say, yeah, look cool. Does it look good or not? Let's see about this one, see what it picked up on. So it's got a little bit there. You've got, the sidings, a little bit run down on, paints and that, that kind of deal. So that, it's picking up on stuff like that. And again, you can get exact. We had people in Phoenix, for example, say, look for properties that have an empty pool in the backyard. Could be anything like that. I mean, anything structural or visual about that property, prompt the AI, and that's what it's going to look for. So, um, there we go, man.
Now, I do have a question, and maybe you can show us this, right? So since we're on the
Mhm.
topic of AI, like
Mhm.
Matt only scratched the surface with the AI. That new feature
Oh, sorry.
is really a game changer, right? But could you dive into, because some people, they a challenge for them may be analyzing deals, or maybe like negotiating. Could you show us the AI to help with all that?
Absolutely. Yep. So this AI assistant we've built into a variety of spots inside Deal Machine. We're trying to again be on that cutting edge for you guys. So it's in the list building right there. It's also in the property card, which I'll show you guys here. And then it's also got inside the dialer. If you're going to send, actually make phone calls inside Deal Machine, I'll show you that too in a minute. But any property you click on, if you're on Deal Machine Pro, is a pro feature. The list builders for everybody. This one's a pro feature specifically. This bottom left corner, though, you open this guy up, this little assistant. If you ever hear me say Alma, that's what we refer to our assistant as Alma right there. You pop that open, and and I've actually analyzed this property before. Let me find a clean one here for you. See if I had done this one. Nope. There we go. So Alma, it'll come in here and it'll look at again all of that data around this property. And inside Deal Machine, we've got property characteristics, we've got land information, we've got tax info, we've got transaction history, even estimated rehab costs, HOAs, all kinds of data to dig into here. Not to mention the demographic data around the owner. Here's Beth. Here's more about Beth. More about her background, more about her portfolio, more about phone numbers and emails, which we'll get to that in a second here too. Professional info, consumer info. You've got like a full picture of due diligence on every property owner right there. And what you can do is you can jump into the AI right here and say, you know what, based on this data, analyze this property. Could this be good for wholesaling? And it'll go through and say, you know what, here's the outstanding balance. Here's what we think the max level offer is. This may or may not be a good deal, and here's why. So it'll kind of break down the thought process there of basically analyzing that deal on the spot. It's also so it's good at deal analysis like that. It's good at coming up with an offer price. Even you can come in and say, hey, what would you recommend for a wholesale offer price? Great, and it'll walk you through the logic here, not just give you a number, right? And then in addition to that, it's also great at kind of giving tips on how to communicate with the seller. So going in there and saying, hey, you know what? Help me write a cold call script. Help me overcome this objection. Help me write a mailer, help me write an email, help me, it's great at language, which if you've been on like ChatGPT or any of that kind of stuff, it's more of a language, a language tool, right? So think of that with all of this data that it normally wouldn't have access to, and then all of our prompting on the back end, making it very, very focused on being just a killer real estate assistant. So, you can again type anything you like in here and it'll help you with that task. You can get really creative, but we've got a kind of a bunch of default settings in here to give you some ideas on, hey, what should I be using this tool for? So think of it as a super productivity tool, kind of your real estate assistant right in your pocket right there.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Everybody, do me a favor. Type a one in the chat if that feature in everything that you saw so far is an absolute game changer for you and your business. Type a one in the chat if you believe that this would absolutely change your business and help you close more deals. Awesome. Awesome.
Love the
Fantastic.
two, maybe it's twice as good. There we go. Love it. Um, Amazing. So driving for dollars, again, that's one option. I gave you a variety of ways to do that. The other piece for building your list, I really want to just briefly touch on is the list pulling based on our data. And again, we've got 700 plus data points to work with here, like I mentioned, where you can look at everything from seller motivations in here to property types, price points, bed and bath. The more button is kind of the catch all. So if you don't know where to find a particular data point, click in there and then you can search. You've got, again, equity data, mortgage information, contact info, owner types like is a corporate owned, is it out of state, property characteristics, land, taxes, liens, foreclosures, MLS data, again, I mean HOAs, all kinds of stuff, anything you can think of, really. You can go in here and start to search. And so, if you want to go in here and think of an area like a zip code, which Luke, can you give me an example zip code to kind of break this down for you guys real quick?
For sure. Do 32806.
Awesome. So you can search by city, county, zip code, or an individual address, but 32806, great. So it'll kick over to that zip code, right? And you're going to use this top filter bar. The right-hand side will show you all the properties that fit your criteria, to browse, and then the bottom number will show you exactly how many properties are in your list if you were to build it right there, based on your criteria. So 32806, great, awesome, Florida area. Is that Orlando-ish? Yeah, there we go. Orlando area, perfect. So you've got that right there. And then I would say, awesome, think about property type. Hey, let's look at single family, for example. If we put that on there, now we're down to 8237, 8,237 properties. I would consider then, hey, let's go off market, right? We've got MLS data, but we can go and just say eliminate all the listed properties. So off market, great. Now we're at 7,750. And so we keep whittling this down using, I would start with location, property type, and off market. I think it's a great baseline. And then start layering on property characteristic data. So what about the house itself would make it a good deal? And then I would consider seller motivation criteria. What about the seller? What could you come in and solve for them? What problem? And so some examples here, like I love, for example, year built, because the older the house, the more likely they're looking, that it needs to be fixed up, that it needs updating, that it could be a good deal, it could be physically distressed. So you could come in here and say, you know what, show me properties that haven't been built since before 1990. Let's see what we get here. Yeah, 6,800 now. Great. So those are at least 35 years old or older, those properties. Awesome. I love looking at last sale date. Like if it hasn't sold in a while, just statistically, they're more likely to sell than somebody who just bought the property yesterday, right? And so if you go in here, I'd say, let me layer that on. So you're built, click on that and filter. So that way it has to fit everything, this and this, right? We're whittling it down. And then you could say, hey, let's look at last sale date, for example. Last sale date, great. We'll say it's more than 15 years ago. Let's see what we get here. And now it's down to 1762. So 1,762 properties. And keep layering on these property data like this. And then I would go in and consider seller motivation data, like I mentioned. So our quick filters is a great place to go find those things. Like, for example, here we could look and say, you know what, go in and help me find high equity properties. Uh, Pro tip, click on match all, because it's got to fit all the criteria then, right? We're trying to narrow it down. So match all. And then let's look at, something like tired landlord. And now we're down to 435 properties. That's a great list. Like, if you, I would recommend, Luke, I don't know if you have any advice there. I'd recommend 200 to 500 leads is a great property list in my opinion because it's big enough you've got deals, but small enough that you can really work that whole list really actively. But do you have any advice on like list size there?
100%. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Usually,
Cool.
I recommend about 500,
There we
right?
go. Perfect.
Um,
So 435 right here. Go drive for dollars, the other 65, right? And then you hit build list, confirm build, and now we've got a great list of leads that, they're all in this area. 32806 zip code, off market, high equity, tired landlords, single families that have been, they're older and haven't sold in a while. And now that we have that list, we can go on to that next phase. Whether we're driving for dollars, whether we're virtual driving, AI driving, using the list builder, all of these tools right here. Our next piece is okay, what do we do with them? How do we turn these addresses into real conversations and appointments and offers and deals? So, Luke, any other questions before I want to touch on a few marketing tools here on how you do that?
yes, yes, absolutely. I do have a question, but I think you could probably touch on it after you go through this part.
Mhm.
What I want everyone to see is how to actually run comps on this system too.
Oh yeah. Okay, I can touch on that too. Yeah, love it. We've got MLS data in here, right, guys? So, um, one thing you'll notice, so this phase here, ideally from a marketing perspective, you're doing a combination of what we would call active one-to-one marketing. That would be things like calling, emailing, door knocking, flyers on the door, anything that's one-to-one. It's harder to scale, but it's active, kind of in your control, right? Outbound marketing, and then I would combine that with inbound one to many things you can, automatable kind of passive marketing, and direct mail would be a great example of that. And I can show you guys kind of a combination of how to do all of those things. So what I want to point out right away, if you haven't actually been in this and tried this before, skip tracing, that industry term would be pinging a database and getting phone numbers and emails back associated with that property, right? And we're actually doing a completely different process altogether. We're contact matching, which increases our skip trace, our contact info accuracy, which I can get into the weeds on that, on a deeper dive training too. But what you'll notice here is inside Deal Machine. Normally, even like a year and a half ago, you would have to go in and pay per property. You had to go in and other softwares, if you're using it, you're probably going to pay around 10 cents per property. So even this list would be $4.35. Overall, I've got almost 32,000 leads in Deal Machine. That's almost or $3,200 essentially to pay for phone numbers and emails. You'll notice here, this list I just pulled, they are all included free, unlimited inside Deal Machine. So any lead you add in Deal Machine comes with phone numbers, comes with emails. You don't have to pay anything. We had focused on changing the industry a little over a year ago for that to like you're never nickel and dimed. You're not having to go out there and pay for this stuff. Like you've got all the contact info right here, and here's the list I just pulled for Luke. Right, here's a list with all that included inside Deal Machine free. And so you are ready to take action. You've got everything you need in terms of the contact information. You've got everything you need in terms of property data when you click into this and see more about the property, right, that we were covering. You've got everything you need in terms of demographic data about the owner. You can click in this and know right away, hey, this person's a real estate agent. They're a senior, they're a high earner, they're a high spender, they've got a portfolio. You've got a picture of who this person is. You've got all that due diligence. This property, it looks like it's free and clear. It's a senior owned property, absentee, tired landlord. They could be looking to offload it. Like they could be looking to offload the whole portfolio possibly. Like you've got a lot of things maybe they could be a cash buyer for you. Like you've got a lot of ways you could take the conversation when you get in touch with them. And you're really coming in at an unfair advantage in your market because you've got all of this data to line you up, get ready to have a great conversation, and then you're literally a click away from calling them. So, yeah, Luke, that unlimited free skip tracing, that was a big deal. Trying to get that that in there about a year ago.
Absolutely awesome, man. That has saved so much money.
Yeah, yeah, we did a study on it, like kind of calculating it. I think it was $18 million. I have to go back and look. I don't want to misquote it, but it was something like $18 million we've saved our customers so far, which is pretty crazy in skip tracing cost. So, yeah, our goal is again to over deliver on value there and say, hey, make it good enough to at least go out and try it out. And so, basically how to go try that out, how to go actually take action on that data is you've got emails, so you could email people, right? You've got Marilyn right here. Here's her emails. Cool. You have phone numbers, right? That next step that we launched last summer is our dialer. And so you click on that call button right here. And what it'll do is it'll pop open the dialer and it's AI powered. So we talked about how AI is assisting you throughout this whole thing, right? In the list builder, in the property card, it's in the dialer too. And what it's going to do is actually go in, do a couple things for you. One, live transcribe the call. So it is transcribing it in front of you. You don't have to take notes. You don't have to do any of that. You can focus and it's got it all right there for you. It'll give you at the end of it a call summary with recommended next steps. So it'll tell you, hey, here's when to follow up with them next, and that recommended next step. And then the coolest thing out of all of this here is it has a little button in there that says, "What do I say next?" And what it can do is it's using the AI. It knows in here, here's my objective. Like, let me go in the dialer settings. Here's my objective. I want to buy this house, right? I want to inquire about this property. Here are my general script points. You don't have to upload anything, but if you've got a script from Luke, for example, you can go and throw that in here. And then what it's going to do is it's taking everything into account where you're at in the conversation, what the script is, what your goal is, and then giving you in real time ideas on where to take the conversation. Like, hey, should I ask around the condition, ask around, why they're looking to sell, ask around their time frame, here's how to overcome this objection. Like, it gives you real time guidance on the call. And I'll hang up here, but here's what it looks like. You click call. Here's Marilyn. Here's the info about Maryland. Here's the info about the property, right? And then here's that what do I say button. Here's an idea of where to take the conversation, right? And so you've got that. Again, I'll hang up. Great. It said no answer. They're right. If Maryland would have picked up, it would have been here's what Maryland's saying, here's what Matt's saying. And you keep clicking that what do I say next button. It will give you, again, in real time suggestions on how to take the conversation, where to go, and line you up to succeed. So
Fire. Fire. Y'all drop some fireballs in the chat. Drop some fireballs in the chat.
love it. So that's a big one. I know, the calling, the emailing, all that right there, huge. The in-person stuff too. We actually give you a route planning tool if you want to like door knock or door hangers or flyers on the door, anything like that. If you're on Deal Machine Pro, you can drive a list too. So like this list we pulled here, Luke, these 435 leads on the mobile app, you can go drive for leads and drive this list is the button from there, and it'll tell you, hey, you know what? It's going to take you this long. This one's a little bit of a big route, but it'll give you turn by turn navigation, the fastest route possible to go drive the list. And so it's great for being able to do any in-person stuff, and you can drive for dollars while you're out there. Like, we want to give you, again, eliminate everything holding you back, just help you focus on what matters, which is talking to sellers, give you all these options to do that. So
Awesome, awesome. Now I've got to ask, right? So up at the top right, I see there's like this notification for five follow-ups. So
yeah,
the question I wanted to ask, man, is could you peel back the curtains on the accountability part of this tool?
yeah. So with that, I'll tell you on the follow-up queue right there, you can actually go into your dialer settings, application settings, and then dialer right here. And there's a follow-up button. And what this is going to tell you is you can go in here and actually kind of, give some guidance, some prompting for it too of, hey, if they don't answer, remind me to call them in a month. If they are a warm lead, so what it's doing is it's doing sentiment analysis of the call and saying, oh yeah, I'll sell someday. I need to do this first or that. Great. Remind me every 2 weeks to just touch base with them. If it's a hot lead, I want to sell right now, give me an offer. It's analyzing that and saying, you know what, make sure you're calling them every other day. And I could even, make it every day, right? I could do that too. And then if it's unresponsive, give me 2 weeks or what have you. So you can kind of preset that. And that way it's automatically going to go do that and have this follow-up queue every single day for you. So that way, if you don't know what to do next, just jump in Deal Machine, jump into your follow-up queue and start calling. Like, you can just make it easy to automatically follow up. So you've got AI helping you with all that. Just because we're on an AI kick here, last cool thing I want to show you real quick. If you go in here, if you're calling at a high volume, this is pretty crazy. We actually do have an AI voicemail option. So you can go in here, clone your own voice on Deal Machine, And if you drop a voicemail, if you go to voicemail, you can click leave AI voicemail, and that way it's saving you 30 plus seconds each time. It'll have your voice clone leave a message. So it'll be you saying their name, the right callback number, the right address, everything right there. You just one click and you don't have to repeat yourself. You're just, it's cutting your time in half a lot of times if you're leaving a lot of voicemails. So that one's pretty wild too.
You just coming with hit after hit, man.
It's fun to show off, man. I could do a whole another follow up on deep diving some of this other stuff. But yeah, I know you asked around comping. I just want to show that briefly too. Like in the property card, you may have noticed this little comps button up here. So you click comps, right? And we have MLS data, like I mentioned. So you can go in here. You can filter so it's a little more exact. So like this top right corner, you can go in and say, you know what, just show me every MLS transaction within the last, we'll call it 3 months. If this is a really active market, square footage range, and your built range. So that way it's showing you generally the same size and architecture, right? And then we'll tighten it up to half a mile. Let's see what we get here. If we get any results. So here we go. Here's two results. So you can tell you right here, you know what? Here are the two closest comps. Pull that for you. And you know what? Estimated value is 313. That's pretty darn good. We're at 316 over here. That's pretty crazy. So we've got this is a more of like a general high level number with a confidence score and range. Like I'd say it's good for like general back of the napkin math, but I'd recommend running the comps over here to really come out with that ARV to inform like what to offer, right? So the comping tool is real quick and easy, a couple clicks away, and then you've got all that right there for you too. So um, yeah. Uh, really, the only one last thing I want to check. I know I mentioned like uh passive marketing, one to many marketing you can automate, right? This little mail button right here. This is something we built in, like Luke, since I think when you used it, it was literally drive for dollars, send mail, and that's all you could do. like I, like I don't even know if there's property data in here. It was literally just addresses and send mail to them, and that was pretty much it. So, again, we're always adding new stuff. Every time I come on here, I'll be able to show you. Here's the new stuff. Here we make it a big point to keep evolving like that with you guys. But that start mail button, that's our bread and butter. I'd say the most of our deals that have been done just historically, because we've had that forever, is through the mail. And so if you hit start mail, you can automate the whole thing. You can say, hey, send them a postcard once a month. And, we've got a bunch of default templates you can use. So just send them, here's the tired landlord template. Great. Send it to them every 30 days and, send it throughout the rest of the year. Cool. And now I'm just generating leads in my sleep, right? I just hit send mail, let it do its thing and wait for the call back. Make sure you answer the phone, but like wait for that call back. And you know what? You've got a pretty darn good lead gen strategy between the mail, send that out, the calling, any kind of in-person driving, anything around the email, and this combination of active marketing, passive marketing all together is the playbook that we see working. So wanted to make sure I know I try to give as much value as possible, man. It's fun to show off, but I wanted to make sure I snuck that in there too. So
Awesome, awesome, fantastic, fantastic. So what we're gonna do is first off, I want to make sure, Matt. Is there anything else you want to share, man? Anything else you want to show?
yeah, I mean, it's essentially a kind of got some light CRM features with notes and tasks and things like that in here. So that's great. That's helpful for following up and things. I'd say the AI assistant, the comping, all of that's great. Again, we're always going to be evolving. So, I know I've got on my end, we've got like our office hours that are helpful, which I can just throw in the chat for everybody who's on here live. It's dealmachine.com/office-hours. If you have specific questions and want to talk directly to our head of customer success, he's on there 4 days a week. So just bookmark that link and jump in there, and you'll learn something new about what we're working on or new strategies we see working. Like it's a great place to just continue to learn about the tool itself. I mean, you're already here, so you're already educating yourself way beyond the tool, which is awesome. You're way ahead of the game versus everybody else for being here. But we want to hook you guys up with that. I know, Luke, do you have I think we set you guys up with some bonuses if people want to try out the free trial and everything as well, right?
100%, 100%.
Awesome.
If
So
if you're ready to get started, take advantage of this opportunity, take advantage of this tool, and absolutely revolutionize your real estate business. We've got amazing bonuses for you just because you attended this class tonight and because you're connected to me. Okay, so I'm
yeah,
excited. drop the link in the chat.
Yeah, yeah.
So that way you can take advantage of a 7-day free trial of Deal Machine. You get started right away.
Yeah, and that comes with the unlimited contact info. That comes with actually we threw in some bonuses in there around the marketing as well. So you get 50 free postcards with that link that you wouldn't get going through our website, or 500 free calling minutes. So if you want to use the dialer, it's like a couple cents a minute to call. It's free access, but if you actually use it, you're just paying for the usage. So that's going to give you 500 free calling minutes. We've had people on the free trial do deals, and a good number of them. But I want you to set that expectation of, hey, if you get lucky with that, amazing. That's awesome. It pays for itself 10 times over if you do that right. But our real goal here is to help you set up for long-term sustained success doing deal after deal. And so that was my goal tonight, was show you, hey, how do you find those sellers? How do you market to them? Put it all together, and you've got the playbook. You've got this amazing community. You've got the bonuses to try it out. So let me know how else I can help, and you've got the office hours there. So Luke, appreciate you having me on, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here, man. It is absolutely my pleasure to have you here. Real quick, type in the chat, y'all. Was this absolutely worth your time tonight? Was it worth your time tonight to stop what you were doing, stop, kill all the distractions, and be here and be attentive? Was it worth your time tonight? Type one in the chat if it was worth your time. I want to make sure that we really served you tonight. Awesome, awesome.
Amazing. Love it.
Fantastic, fantastic. So what I'd like to do is before we finish and we close, I do want to say this one more time. Thank you so much, Matt, for being here, man, for being just teaching and showing and revealing Deal Machine. Absolutely revolutionary, brother. I really appreciate it, and thank you again.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, let me know how else I can be helpful for you guys, and happy deal finding. Go out there and make it happen.
Awesome, awesome. Now, before you go, before you